Welcome back. I'm Gary Parr, and you are listening to Fiber Talk, the twice weekly podcast for needlework artists. Our artist this week from the UK, Emma Homent. Emma, welcome.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm very excited to be talking to you.
Oh, this is going to be different. This is going to be different. Needlepoint, the Maker's Marks. Yes, yep. The Maker's Marks. Now that's a unique name. How do we get that? How do we get Maker's Marks?
So it came about because right when I was starting, I was thinking about the mark making that I was making and the collaborative process of I design something, but it doesn't really come to life until a stitcher puts their hands on it as well.
Okay.
And then I also started thinking about how every now and then I'd like to do a collaboration. So working with an artist from a different medium and translating their work. And I just thought, well, it's kind of my marks. It can be collaborators' marks. It can be the marks of the stitchers. And it just stuck in my head.
Okay. Because see, you use that word collaboration. And so then that suggests to me that all of your designs are some collaboration with someone else. But you're also looking at it as a collaboration with the stitcher.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So that's a much broader definition than I was working with. And
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I sell kits, so I'm not doing kind of finished pieces as art pieces to go up in galleries or anything. It's it's a commercial facing kind of design, and they don't fully come to life until a stitcher works with them. Otherwise, it's just a printed canvas. It's just a design on canvas. But until they start putting their stitches on there, that's when it starts to breathe life into it for me. So they're a huge part of it. I think I always see that as a real collaborative element.
Yeah, no, I like the view. That's good. That's good. And so, do you have a stable of designers that you collaborate with, or is it just your few favorites?
Yeah, no, not really. So the majority of the designs are my own. It's just every now and then I'll see someone and I think my brain thinks in stitches. So I'll see something. So I saw these beautiful enamel pin badges by a designer called Liz Harry, and I just loved her style. Very colourful, very graphic. It's the mixtape that's just behind my. There we go. That one there.
Oh yes.
That used to be. It was like a tiny, tiny little pin badge. And I just saw it and I thought, oh, God, I absolutely love it. And my brain just kind of put it through a filter in my eyes and I could see the stitches.
Yeah.
I was like, that would be amazing. That would be so cool. And I just thought I hadn't seen anything like it either. I thought, right, I'm going to have to do that. So I reached out to her and we worked on it together. So that's how it happens. It's just I will randomly spot something and go, ooh.
Oh, that's great. So you have that disease then that when you look at things, it's how can I stitch this? Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's no cure, no known cure for that.
No,
you're stuck.
None at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're stuck. How do we? I mean, you live in the UK, and so canvas work and needlepoint, or what we in America call needlepoint, but canvas work, is not that prevalent. How do you end up doing needlepoint?
So I mean, we call it needlepoint here now as well. We used to call it tapestry.
Yes.
But I think as everything's become more online and globally, the term needlepoint is more recognized. And I think tapestry has two meanings. You get the woven tapestries as well, right. The big wall hangings in stately homes. So it was just so easy for us to drop the word tapestry.
So we've converted you then.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Outstanding.
I know. Bullied us into it. It's fine. We all call it needlepoint now. And I've kind of stitched ever since I was really small. My mum and my grandmother were both big stitchers. Both of my grandfathers as well, actually. One learned how to do needlepoint when he was a really small child. He was injured and ended up in hospital, I think, for 3 years. It was wild. And so to keep them busy, they used to have these monks that would come round and they would teach them handicrafts. So they could be in their beds doing little crafts. So we've got all these gorgeous little things that my granddad stitched when he was tiny.
Did he learn from monks?
Yeah, I know. It's wild.
Wow.
It's the most bizarre thing. And then my other grandfather, he learned during the war because they used to give them like projects, like trench work sort of projects.
Yeah.
And he became the most beautiful embroiderer. We have stunning pieces that he did. I mean, phenomenally gorgeous, very fine work.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like it's been around my family for a long time. But I was a very hyperactive child when I was little. I was very bouncy. My family used to call me Tigger because I didn't sit still. I was constantly bounce. And I think for my mum's sanity, she was like, "I'm giving her a craft project. Sit her in the corner." And I'm also very kind of like, if someone gives me a project, I will sit and do it. And
Oh,
okay,
okay.
give me a task, I'm on it. I will do that. I will focus onto it. So needlepoint for me was perfect. It was a lifesaver for my mother. I'm sure she'd sit me in a corner. I'll sit quietly and do it. And I just loved it. It was love at first stitch for me. So
Uh,
I've stitched always. I've always stitched and stitched. And, you know, there's a company here called Erman. They have a number of different designers within their kind of art house, and their kits are beautiful. But after you've stitched so many of them, they don't add that many new designs actually. And I started, stitching some things from Emily Peacock. She was a huge inspiration to me. She started out as a cross stitch designer working in wool. Now she predominantly does needlepoint, and she started doing things that were really different. I was seeing different colors. I was seeing kind of typographic pieces, which I'd just never seen before.
uh-huh.
And I was like, "Oh, you can do something different." And suddenly it wasn't just, the traditional kind of William Morris style
Yeah,
cushions, or,
sure.
it just started to feel a bit different. And that just massively inspired me. So it's been a long time coming for me designing my own stuff. From If you'd have told me when I was 6 years old or even 10 years old, I would have thought you were completely nuts.
Yeah. So this, we often talk about needlework being a mental health thing for stitchers. So it really, in your case, it was for your mother. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and without that, she'd have gone nuts. Okay, all right, we
Yeah,
can.
yeah,
Cheers for your mother.
yeah,
But so that's so interesting. So you have stitched the entire time. Like in your teen years, did you continue
yeah,
to stitch? So all the way
yeah,
through all those developmental, emotional years, you
yeah, all the
kept
way
going.
through.
Because a lot of
Yeah, I
people will,
always,
will lag off and then come back, but no.
yeah, I definitely, there were times where like one project would take me like a really long time because I wasn't having so much stitching time, but I would always have something on the go. It's just never really left me.
Oh, that's wild. Because,
Yeah.
yeah. Because, I mean, I learned in college,
Mm.
and then raising two kids, I'd pick away at it every now and then, but there just wasn't time or energy. And then as once kids moved out, then it picked up again, which is kind of the typical path. But you've maintained it all the way through. Wow, that's
Yeah.
neat. Did
I
did
just love
you
it.
did it drive some kind of an art interest for you?
So I come from quite a creative family, to be honest with you. Most of my parents are divorced, but both of them and the people that they ended up remarrying, everyone's in the arts. So we've got
Oh,
kind of painters, art teachers, dancers, musicians. Like everyone's
uh-huh.
involved in the arts. So I was very immersed in all of that. For me, a large passion was photography for a really long time.
Oh, okay.
So I
Mm-hmm.
did a photography degree. That's what I ended up studying. And after I graduated, I ended up becoming a photographer's agent. So I represented photographers primarily kind of within advertising, which was fun for a while. And certainly when I was in my 20s was, a great industry to
Yeah,
be in.
yeah,
Um, After a while, it started to feel less and less fun and less creative.
yeah, yeah,
Once you've been in any industry, I think, for a prolonged period of time, if you've not got your own creative outlet as a creative person, I think it becomes a bit frustrating.
yeah.
So yeah, there just kind of came a point there where it kind of coincided, I think, with me not seeing enough designs that I wanted to stitch.
Uh-huh.
And I'm very fortunate, actually. Emily, who I mentioned before, is also a really great friend of mine. And I was mentioning things to her, and she just said, "Why aren't you making your own? Like,
Oh,
why aren't you
mm.
doing your own designs?" And she gave me a really strong talking to and a kick up the butt to kind of get going.
Okay, 'cause that's so interesting because in on our side of the pond, we tend to do what other designers create.
Mm,
That's kind of the norm. To get people here to design their own thing is not very common. But
mm,
in the UK, all the people I talk to in the UK, very few work other people's designs.
yeah.
They create their own. So you got the kick in the butt and joined the club then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think also because I think Emily's an amazing cheerleader for the craft and is of the same mindset of me, I suppose as well. It's different to you guys that there are fewer of us here as designers, so it's
Yeah.
not as competitive a field. Um, but we very much adhere to the rising tide lifts all boats
Hmm.
method. So we
Yeah.
think if you're encouraging another designer in and you kind of help them, I mean, she was an amazing help to me. She's a gift of a human being. She's incredibly generous. She told me who her wall suppliers were. She told me who her canvas printer was. If I had any questions, I could go to her. So it some of the scary things I think with setting up weren't so scary because she was saying, "Oh, it's this or it's that," um, which was amazing. And I've done that myself to other designers. In fact, myself and Emily have a Needlepoint collective where I think there's 10 of us now. We've just added a new designer in as well, where we just kind of have it's essentially it's a very large chat group where we support each other. And if we've got questions, and at the moment one of the issues that we've all had has been Brexit and not being able to ship to
Oh,
Europe,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so instead of all of us having to individually research that, one person's gone, right, I'm looking into something, I'll let you know what I find out. And and we all kind of look after each other a little bit. So um yeah, we're very much in this country, it's very much about looking after each other, supporting each other, and I think we all feel confident enough that we have our own design aesthetic, that we're not going to be copying each other. Everyone's
Hmm.
got their own look, and we have it as well. We all go to similar markets. There's a couple of really big events here: the Knitting and Stitching Show and the Stitch Festival, and they are customer facing, but you get stores and things coming as well. And I've had people coming to my stand, and I know other designers have as well, where someone goes, "Oh, I love this. This is lovely. These are your colours, but oh, I kind of want something that's got flowers, or I really want something that's X." And if I don't have it, I'm not going to try and hard sell someone one of my designs.
Yeah.
I would rather they have a positive experience and find the perfect thing for themselves. And so I will send them to another designer. So I'll say, "Oh, I know such and such around the corner has got a design like this. I think you'll probably like that one." And we all do that for each other.
Oh, that's
it's a
fantastic.
it's a very kind of rise each other up industry here, which is really lovely, really special.
Oh, that's got to be feel good on several fronts. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting being a group, but then is it a conscious thing that you make sure you don't copy someone else's work, or because to me it's difficult to not be influenced. You see
Yeah.
something and that gives you an inspiration. Is that it, you're just in your own mind able to do that, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I think, and also because I think because it's a smaller pool of people, I think we admire and appreciate what other people do. I think we all have our own color aesthetics and things as
Yeah.
well. I kind of
Hmm.
lean towards a brighter kind of candy colored
Yes, you
aesthetic,
do.
I think
Yeah.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was born right at the start of the 80s. I am very much a child of the 80s and 90s. I've got a nostalgia vibe for that sort of stuff. The mixtape is
Right.
key to that. And a lot of my designs kind of lean towards those sorts of kind of colorings, like kind of Memphis kind of graphic style and things like that. Um, and Emily, her background is graphic design and packaging design. So she's very influenced by that
Oh.
side of things. She's done a lot of stuff that is recently kind of very inspired by Japanese packaging design and things like that. That's something that is beautiful and I love, and I've stitched her pieces, but it's not something I'd want to design myself.
Yeah.
And I think each of us have kind of got our own little lane of
Okay.
things that inspire us. And yeah, I don't know. It's funny. So far, so good. So far, we haven't kind of crossed over. I think, but I think that's possibly one of the benefits of being in a collective as well. We'll share ideas that we have. So I'll share
Hmm.
sketches. Oh, I'm thinking about doing this, or I'm thinking about doing that. I had an idea for a book recently. Um, but I'm not going to say what it is.
Okay.
um, but another one of the designers was thinking about bringing out some kits that were related to the same topic.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And kind of gave me pause for a second, but then I thought, no, her vibe is totally different from mine.
Oh.
Like, I'm super kind of modernist, and she is much more classic British, almost kind of French linen sort of vibes about
Oh.
her.
Okay.
So we could be stitching the same thing, but totally come up with different ideas.
Yeah. Yeah. Just because of your view. So then that
Yeah.
collective, then that sounds
Mm.
that sounds really cool. So as a body, you're providing a multifaceted view of needlework. Then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So we have a little website. So it's useful actually sometimes when I see chats on, say, Facebook needlepoint groups and things like that, and someone's saying, like, I'm looking to get more kits, I'm looking for UK designers, I'm going to be over there. It's really easy for me to send a link and say, oh, you can, it's like a little windows into everyone's
Yeah.
designs, so it's really easy to say, like, have a look at this, and you can kind of see a great cross section of UK designers, which is really helpful. And it's just a beautiful space. We all support each other. We can troubleshoot things so quickly with
Oh.
our combined knowledge as well.
Mm-hmm.
So just some of the boring, business stuff that creeps in. Ultimately, we just want to all be sat around designing all the time, but the
Right.
business side gets in the way.
Well,
um,
yeah, all designers struggle with that. Is they
mm,
really just want to stitch and design, and the business has to be done, and it's just
yeah,
hours and hours that just get chewed up for
yeah.
because you have to. Yeah, yeah. What is the website for that group?
It's Albion Designers. I'll send you a link to it,
Yeah,
and
well,
then yeah, we can pop it in the notes.
yeah, I'll put that in the show notes. Yeah, because anybody would love to see,
Yeah, it's great, and
especially
it shows the diversity as well between us
right.
all.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I want to check that out. There may be more guests there. You never know. So
Absolutely.
so you're all the way through school and you're stitching. Is there some point where you say, "Wait, I'm going to start designing," and it becomes a business? How does that evolve?
Yeah, so it was the frustration with the job. It was the talk with Emily. I I
Oh,
was kind of thinking, well, okay, let's start to do it. Let's start to think. There was also a really brilliant business group called the Indie Roller Coaster, which was supporting all sorts of independent businesses. And it could be any part of your journey. You could be well into it, or you could just be starting out. And I joined that group, and that really helped as well. That helped me kind of think about how to launch something. It helped me think about, like, thinking about the name of my business, making sure that I could get that name across all of my social media channels,
right,
making
right.
sure my packaging was going to be a certain way. And I just wanted everything so perfect to start off with. Um, so that probably was 2017, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up launching my kits properly the end of November, sort of 2019. So just before COVID times.
Oh, perfect.
Um,
Well,
which was a wild,
good
a
and
wild
bad.
time.
Good and bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of good and bad. It was funny, yeah. So it was a good kind of 2 years of thinking, planning, designing, getting a collection together to launch, and then 2019 to launch it, and then almost bang straight into COVID times, which was a crazy time. It was slightly a perverse blessing, I think, because so certainly here we saw a huge rise in people wanting to craft.
Right.
I think
Same
there was
here. Yeah.
one, you were like bored at home, stuck at home in lockdowns, and we had a furlough scheme here, so lots of people were being paid to stay at home, um, and people were bored, they wanted something to do, and also there was a kind of self-soothing element, I think, came into it as well.
Yeah.
When you couldn't go and see family and friends, and there's a lot of comfort that people find in craft. So it was kind of a blessing in some regards that I was able to be part of that, and I had some beautiful messages from customers who told me very sweet, very personal stories about how buying a kit had helped them in difficult times. And that's an absolute gift to be a part of something like that with
Right.
someone.
Right.
that
Yeah.
that was incredible. And it was also in that time that I had more time on my hands. I was started doing my Stitch Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
So on a Monday, I would share a different decorative stitch, which was something I felt wasn't something that was happening here very much. It was very much traditional kind of tent stitch,
Yeah.
needlepoint, and that's very historically what we have done here. Unless you're branching out into crewel work and doing the more kind of historical side of needlework.
Right.
Um, it just, I wasn't seeing decorative stitches, but I was seeing it in the States all the time, and I was following lots of stitches in America on Instagram and being so inspired, and just loving the texture and the movement you can add to canvases. So I just thought, well, do you know what, on a Monday I'll just share a little something. And it was for my own pleasure more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And wonderfully it caught the eye of a publisher,
No.
and that's how my books came about.
Wow. Just from doing
Yeah,
Instagram every Monday.
yeah, yeah.
Oh. I will say your stitch, the images for those posts, you really do an excellent job of getting up close and showing that. It's really well done. Yeah, you
Thank
light
you.
it well
The
and everything. Of course,
photography degree wasn't to waste.
right. I was just gonna say the photographer, you should be able to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you can't, find something else. Yep. But no, they come across really well. So it's easy to see how the stitch is done. So that's that's just great. So okay, so you get yourself right into the pandemic mix then, where
Yeah,
demand is high, hard to get supplies,
yeah.
time on your hands, plenty of designs, still can't get supplies, blah 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 blah. Yeah, have you seen have you seen that level of stitching interest maintain after the pandemic? It's
No,
dropped off.
it certainly no, it certainly dropped off, and I think um, we had we had a cost of living crisis kind of straight afterwards here as well, which
Yeah.
that definitely had an effect. And I think it rolled to America as well. That
Oh
started
yeah.
happening. We were all having issues. I think a lot of places are still having issues with the cost of food and etc. So it kind of peaked from necessity of people really needing something, and then started to go down, and now it's kind of at a steady level.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not the high that it was.
Yeah. Well, I think we all knew that was artificial anyway.
Yeah.
I don't. If anybody planned a business on that level of activity, they weren't they weren't
But
thinking straight.
I think it's interesting because I've seen a lot of small businesses, not necessarily craft businesses, but a lot of small businesses from after that time who didn't weather the storm.
Oh,
I think the peak and the fall was too much for a lot of
oh,
businesses.
yeah. Because that's tough to manage when the demand is so high and you know darn well it's going to stop. And so you can only gear up so much, knowing that at some point you're going to have to trim all that off of your business.
Yeah,
And that's a tough call. I mean, I
yeah,
have sympathy for anyone who's trying to manage a business through something like that because it's so artificial. But you,
yeah,
but there's real money there and there's real customers and you want to service them, but you just know it's not going to sustain. Yeah, yeah, it's
yeah.
tough.
I think
Yeah.
what we're finding, certainly over here at the moment, is there's a lot of people who are trying to do stash busting. So
Uh
it's a
huh.
lot of people who built up lots of supplies and they're looking to do something else, which I think is why the books have been quite popular.
Hmm.
Um, to a certain audience, I think that they've been quite helpful. Um, so yeah, I think it's that's been a funny trick recently, and looking at how you can help people with that,
Yeah.
help people with stash busting,
Yeah.
and not trying to constantly sell like a full kit of things.
Right.
Having canvas only options, or having charts available for people who want to do counted, who want to go through their own supplies and things like that as well. That's
Yeah.
that's been an interesting thing.
Yeah. We talk about that a lot because I certainly don't, but many here have huge stashes of stuff that could be used. Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah, I do. Out of control.
We all do.
Out of control. So it's also interesting to me that you do canvas work, tapestry, but you do it a lot of wool, what 12, 13 count canvas, some plastic, which in most terms, is an older school
Hmm.
needlepoint. But then ride with me here. So we have
Yeah,
that like an old school thing, but then the younger people who are entering the stitching world, the designs that you do are the kinds of designs that they're looking for. They don't want
yeah,
these things that are going to take months and months and sophisticated stitches to pull off. They want to
yeah,
be able to stitch something. So it's interesting that you're mixing the two, the old school, wool, 12 point, 13 point, whatever it is, canvas, with
yeah.
what today's young people want. Is that ending up being your demographic? Are you reaching a lot of young people?
I'm definitely reaching a lot of young people, but I have a huge amount of older customers as well.
Oh,
I would
okay.
say certainly when I go and do shows, the average age of my customer at shows, I would say, is probably 60.
So right in the demographic then, the normal
Yeah. So it's
demographic. Interesting.
normal demographic, and a lot of the feedback I get from UK stitchers is that they're really fed up of doing kind of landscape scenes,
Oh,
cottages, baskets of kittens, and they were just like, I want to do something different. And do you know what I think it is? I don't think I think some of the and there's a time and a place for designs like that for sure. They're still beautiful and there's still an audience for those. But I think this falls in a lot of sectors, and the craft industry has definitely had this problem. They don't realize that an older audience has grown up in a different era.
mm,
That they are thinking who, their 60 plus stitcher is still the 60 plus stitcher with the same interests and the same design aesthetic that they had 40 years ago.
oh,
And they're not. They don't have the same design aesthetic.
mm,
They have different music choices. Their nostalgic music is totally different from their parents, but they're being treated as though, all older people are all like this sort of thing. They're all going to dress this certain way. We have it over here. It's hilarious. For 50 plus health insurance and 50 plus holidays, and they all the adverts show people who are well into their 70s,
oh,
and so it feels skewed. If it This window of the kind of target audience that craft businesses, I think, appeal to, it's not what they're after. It's not the designs they're looking for. So although I will absolutely appeal to younger stitchers because of my color palettes and some of the sorts of stylistic kind of designs and stuff that
yeah,
I have a huge older audience as well because they love this stuff too.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, and I wish that some of the larger kind of large manufacturing craft companies would maybe catch up to that a little bit too.
just simply haven't adjusted their thinking. Basically, need to
Yeah,
do a little audience research then. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
interesting. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I find it funny because I think they're also starting to paint themselves into a bit of a corner,
sure.
and
Oh,
that
sure.
that could become problematic for the craft industry as a whole.
Right.
Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
it's great for designers like myself. We'll always be serving an audience, and I think that's one of the reasons why we really encourage new designers to come out as well, because they'll have a different viewpoint, a different aesthetic. But I think some of the larger companies, their audience is going to dry up eventually.
Yeah. Literally die off is
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
unfortunately, but yeah, yeah,
yeah. Well, it's reality. It's biology. How it
yeah,
happens. Yeah.
yeah,
Hard to avoid it.
yeah.
So when you design, are you do you have that in the back of your head, the audience, or are you just designing what comes out of your art head, the
Yeah,
art side of your brain?
totally that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something that makes me happy. It's like, what do I want to stitch? And that's how I've always worked. It's what I used to say to my photographers as well. I always used to say, shoot what makes you happy, and then we'll find an audience for it.
Oh, okay.
And I think that is the same as me. I'll stitch what makes me happy, and I reckon my audience will probably like it as well.
Yeah.
I'm certainly mindful of my collection, so I generally design things that I think will sit well with the others.
Right.
I also, in my head, I sometimes think that if I have like a weird ratio in my mind, that if I launch a large design, that I'm going to have to quite soon launch three smaller ones,
Hmm.
or if I'm doing like a big design, maybe there's three tiny spin-off ones. So I'm making sure that people's budgets are accounted for as well. I
Okay.
don't want to be pricing people out. I don't want to just have all of my kits being super expensive. I want nice beginner friendly smaller kits, things that are easier for people to go, oh, I'll treat myself to a little kit that's only going to cost them £15. I don't want people to be priced out. So I kind of have that thing plays in my mind probably more than design wise what I think people want.
Yeah. Yeah, we were having a discussion about that the other day. I don't think it was on a show. It was just one of those on the side things about the barrier for painted canvas, printed painted canvas. That barrier compare. Oh, we were talking about counted canvas work, where you get a chart and a blank canvas, and and how you have that extra financial barrier of buying the canvas,
Yeah.
and how if you buy it, then you really feel an obligation to stitch it. Where if sometimes you'll start a design and it's just like, nah, no,
Yeah.
not it. But I laid out $200 for this canvas, so I really kind of have to stitch it, and I'm going to hate it the entire way. And and it happens, and I've seen pictures of people with closets full of canvases just hanging up, and
Mm.
that half of them in there, they just no, not
Yeah.
shouldn't have bought it, but I'm stuck now. So you even have that in mind, but so much of your stuff is small, so that even if you don't like it, it's going to be finished in short order. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's a very different cost point here for stitches than there is in America. I think that's why I mean about 50% of my sales have always been to stitches in the States.
Oh.
Um, and I think a lot of that is because UK kits feel really affordable.
Mm-hmm.
We print here. There's very few places where you'll see it hand painted, or it's it can be more traditional places. Like there's one needlepoint shop in London. Theirs are all hand painted,
Okay.
but designers like myself, we're all printed. The company I mentioned earlier, and theirs are all printed. It's just what we've always had.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the printing here is fantastic. It's absolutely amazing. It's about as perfect as you can get. That it's a canvas is a natural thing. Occasionally you will get a slight drift across a larger piece,
Yeah.
but it's incredibly accurate. We all give charts as well, so if anyone's got any kind of queries on, oh, is it this stitches, it's that, you can refer to the chart
Okay.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of cover all bases. But
So wait,
because
so
of that,
back
it's a
back up on that, because hand painted here is the thing,
yeah,
because so often the printing is off enough that it really becomes a hassle to stitch. So you're
yeah,
getting printed canvas that's accurate enough and
yeah.
consistent.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's terrific,
Yeah,
because
it's
that's so
amazing.
much.
But I think it's because we've had it for so long.
Uh huh.
Um, the canvas printer that I currently have, he used to print all the anchor kits, and he's
Okay.
been printing for like 30, 40 years. So he's good. He's really good. He
Yeah.
really knows his stuff.
Yeah.
They send us through a proof, so I get to double check my colors. I get to double check my alignment, make sure that there's no areas that are too tricky. Um, yeah, and it's fantastic. It's really good quality.
And
Um,
so that
so
keeps
it's
the cost down. I mean, that's a whole lot less than a
yeah,
hand painted. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, massively so. And yeah, it's traditionally here. You were saying about the stitch count. It's traditionally 12 count. Although I'm moving to 13 count because that's more appealing to most of my American audience.
Uh huh.
It's just that little bit different, and they're happier. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
going with. And it's tapestry wool. That's what we tend to work with.
Yeah.
When I'm stitching other designs for my own fun, I'll use lots of different fibers, and I stitch in lots of different canvas counts. I am looking to start doing some 18 count because I've spoken to my printer recently, and he has great successes printing on 18.
Okay.
So there will be more 18 coming into my collection as well.
Good to hear that. Good to hear that,
Yeah,
because that's yeah, I got to have that. And it was interesting. I saw in somewhere you mentioned that you'd switched to Appleton's wools.
yeah.
and a wonderful wool. Oh,
Gorgeous wool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So that, and of course on 12, 13 count canvas, wool
yeah,
is perfect, and they
yeah.
have such a range. So that you use, when it comes to wools, that's in your kits. That's what you're exclusively using now.
Yeah, so I'm still running through the last of my Anchor wool. So Anchor is what I historically used, and it was nothing against Appletons. It's just that all the kits I grew up with were
Ah,
Anchor, and so I had this nostalgia when I'm such a nostalgic kicker anyway. It's ridiculous, but so I just went with Anchor when I started because that was just like what I was
right.
used to.
Sure.
Um, and Anchor got bought out by DMC, and they shut the tapestry wall section, which nearly gave me a heart attack.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I recolored all of my collection. There have been some casualties. The mixtape design is getting a refresh, and there'll be thankfully a mixtape volume 2, which makes me very
Yeah.
happy that I can call it that. It's worked out perfectly, which will look very different. And everything is moving to gorgeous Appleton's wool now, which makes
Yeah.
me really excited because they are a brilliant British company. It's British wool as well, which the British wool industry has really struggled in recent years. It's been massively undervalued, and it's beautiful wool. It's gorgeous to stitch with, and their colours are just
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. No, I have
So
a small collection here, and when I did
yeah,
a show with them, and yeah, yeah, just terrific. Well, they've been around forever, and it's always
yeah,
been top notch wool.
yeah,
I mean, I think when I started, I think that's what I used, was what was available. Like, why would you stitch
yeah.
with anything else? Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's beautiful wool. I mean, that some of the newer colors they've brought out, like their neons, they've got hot neons and cool neons. I mean, for me, it's dreamy. I just love it. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous to
Yeah.
work with, and it's nice as well. They're a relatively small company, so
Hmm.
everyone who works there, which is brilliant to have that sort of relationship with your wool manufacturer. I could never get that with Anchor.
Right. Oh
I would
no.
never get that from DMC, the big
No.
behemoth that is DMC. You're lucky if you can get anyone to reply to an email. But these guys I know personally. It's wonderful. So
Uh,
yeah, it's been what was initially kind of a scary thing. Losing Anchor has ended up being an absolutely beautiful blessing. Being able
yeah.
to just move everything to Appleton's.
The old one door closes, another opens, and off you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it is crazy the colors that they get on wool,
Yeah.
because you think it would have to be on silk or cotton
Yeah.
or some synthetic, but
Yeah.
they really deliver
It's
brilliant colors.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the base wool that they use is just fantastic. It's amazing. And I know a lot of hand dyers here who have started playing with it.
Yeah.
There's a brilliant, brilliant hand dyer, Kaiti, who is his company is the Yarn Whisperer, and he does these variegated tapestry walls.
Oh.
Oh my, you should get him on. He's
Oh.
Australian. He's
Okay. The yarn.
Australian. He's hilarious.
Making a
And
note.
he's historically he's stitched knitting and crochet wool,
Uh huh.
and more recent times he started hand dyeing tapestry wool, and my goodness, the colors.
Uh,
The colors and the variegated, oh,
oh.
it's dreamy. You'll regret that I ever told you, because oh, you just want it all. Every time I see him, I just, oh yeah, I'll have one of those, and oh no, I need two of those. It's awful. The last time I saw, he came to our retreat that we did in the spring. We had a little pop up at the end. I walked away with arm.
Oh.
I was going to trotting away, very happy with myself. And I came home and I found a bag of it that I'd forgotten that I had.
Oh no. Uh,
Glad more, but
yeah.
I'll use it all. It's beautiful.
Walking out of the place, dropping skeins because you can't hold them all. Yeah.
I know, it's ridiculous. But
Well,
I think it's just a beautiful base material. So it's exciting to see other dyers playing with it as well.
yeah.
And it's fantastic. It's great
Well, it
stuff.
stitches so well. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, they know what they're doing. They've been at it so long that
yeah,
yeah, they figured it out a long time ago. And
yeah,
yeah, it's yeah. What I don't do a lot of stitching with wool, but when I do, it's always so nice. It's
yeah,
like, wow, this is just perfect. Yep.
yeah.
Okay, now I'm watching the clock here, and we're going to run out of time,
Mhm.
and we got 3 books to talk about.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, so we're just going to jump to the books here.
Okay.
So your first book, A Modern Stitch Directory,
Mhm.
that was the first time you wrote a book.
Yep.
An experience there, I'm sure.
It was a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. I was ridiculously excited to start off with. Halfway through, I was deeply regretting it and thinking, what if I'll just give them back the advance. It's fine. No one will know. It'll be okay. And then I pushed through that. it, it was like my own mental marathon, I think. I kind of hit the wall and then I pushed through and then I loved the process. And as soon as I'd finished it, I was like, oh, I want to do it again.
Oh boy.
It was mad. It was completely,
Yeah.
completely daft. But I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. And this will be an exclusive for you. But 3 days ago, I signed the contract for my third book.
All right. All
Third book's
right.
happening as well.
Good for you. So the Stitch Directory is literally that. It's not so much a project book, but just a guide for how to do stitches.
It's a bit of both. So there's 100 stitches in there. It takes you through the basics. I kind of segregate it out, so you've kind of got simple stitches, which are really nice, easy ones to work out. The compensation of them isn't too tricky. I do more structured ones, and it's a really I think it's a really accessible book for stitchers at any level.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you are just starting out, it's fantastic because it teaches you all the basics. I think if you are a bit further on and you are looking for decorative stitches and you're a real visual learner, I think it's really popular. I think because I have the photographs in there, that's been a big point of difference for people.
Right.
It was certainly something that was important to me, and maybe it's my background. I think maybe it's the way my brain works. If I can see something, I can stitch it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I just see a chart, so if I just see that kind of 2D black and white chart of a stitch, I could do it, but I don't know if I'm making the right choice for my canvas.
Yeah.
But if I can see a picture of it and I can see the texture and I can see the rise and fall of the stitch and I can see the movement it's going to bring, then my brain can go, yeah, okay, that will work brilliantly for that area.
Yeah.
And that I think that's been certainly the biggest feedback that I've had from the book. That's the thing that people seem to love the most. Having the picture makes a world
Mm-hmm.
of difference.
Well, and as a
Yeah,
as a former magazine editor, you're a publisher's dream because
yeah,
you can do quality photos. That
yeah,
yeah, I'm sure.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's not even me photographing the books, but all my reference photos and my
Right.
reference notes and things like that. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it helps. I think, yeah.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
So yeah,
So
so that was the first book, and it had 10 projects at the back as well.
okay.
Um, all that you could finish into different items, because part of my thinking with the book as well, certainly when I was looking at the UK audience really defaults to turning things into cushions and pictures,
Ah.
and they don't tend to finish things into anything else.
Okay.
um, so I wanted to make sure that when we were doing the books that we had lots of different items that you could finish something into, so even if you didn't do the project, it would just even make you think, oh, that's a good idea,
Mm-hmm.
and then they could turn something else that they've worked on into one of the things that we had.
Ah. Okay. All right.
And that's been the case in the second book as well.
So you fight through the I don't want to do it anymore. You get the book
Yeah,
out, and now you can't wait to do the next one, and now you've got a third one in play. So then the
yeah,
next one is actually two, right? The
yeah,
next level
yeah.
needlepoint, and the
Next
journal
level
came
needle
out at the
came,
same time.
yeah. So next level needlepoint and the journal came out in the spring. Um, the journal came about because a store contacted me from America. A really lovely woman reached out to me and said, I love your book. Have you done a journal? I just think the look of it and the aesthetic that you have would
Oh.
work really well for a stitching audience that we have. And I went, okay, leave it with me. So I went to my publisher and went, listen, people are saying.
Uh-huh.
And so we came up with a journal.
Yeah. So next, let's take them one at a time though. Next level needlepoint. When you say next level, what did that mean in comparison to the first one, or is it not comparison?
Yeah, no, it is really, because the first book sold really, it continues to sell really well, which I'm forever grateful for. Um, and I just thought, if you've bought that one as a beginner and you're looking to reach out a bit more, or you're an experienced stitcher and you're looking for something more specific, because the chapters in the first book were more generalized. It was kind of the structure of a stitch and things like that. But I kept getting people messaging me saying, listen, I've got this canvas. What would you suggest for this area? And so many people were looking to add a bit of movement or to add a certain type of texture, or they were looking for something for kind of a landscape piece.
Yeah.
So they were looking for water-based stitches, stitches that would work well for the sky, stitches that would work well for the land. And I thought, right, okay, so I need to be more specific in the next book.
Yeah.
So that's what Next Level Needlepoint is. It's a more you're going into the book with more intention. You're a stitcher with a purpose, like you want to do a certain something, but it's still very accessible to beginners again, but just because of the way I explain stitches and the way we lay it out. I think you're hard pressed to try a stitch. Even the most complicated stitches, I think, are doable in there because of the way it's laid out.
So then the two books together give you a really complete package in terms of stitches and stitches for applications.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Projects in the second book?
Yeah, there's 10 projects in the back of the second book.
Okay.
Again, finishing into 10 totally different items again. Just because I just want to keep people's imaginations going.
Sure.
So
Sure.
that was another big thing in that book.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the case again for the third book as well. It's different though. It's not just decorative stitches, the next book.
Okay. And it's interesting because so many books are either just pure stitch books or project books, and along the way you might learn a stitch or two. And
Yeah.
so it sounds to me like we're about 75% stitch and 25% project, but the real emphasis is on the stitch, so they become long-term resources then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and then the journal. Now, is that just a bunch of blank pages, or how do you have that set up?
It is. I've got one with me. I handily have one to the side of me.
Well
So
played. Well played.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Oh, and Spiral
it's
Bound. Can we talk about Spiral Bound? Can we just talk about thank you very much?
I know. I really wanted to do spiral binding on the books.
Yeah.
But it's too cost prohibitive.
Ah.
So my publisher just said they couldn't go for spiral binding. Although I do know that a lot of local needlepoint shops do offer that as an option for people. So if they buy my book at the shop, they do spiral bind it for people, which is fantastic. And I know a lot of people take them to stores. Does Kinko still exist? Is Kinko still a thing, or that sort of a shop?
That's sort of I don't think we still have Kinkos, but we have places, because it's very common for people to take their books and have them chop the binding off and put a spiral on, because they're just almost so many of them are just useless without that. I mean, to weight them down is hard. Yeah,
it's tricky. The second book is a lot easier. They did a different stitching technique on the binding, so it does sit flatter much easier, the second book.
Oh, okay. So that's why we don't see spiral in everything needlework, is because it's just pure cost.
Yeah. If it's come through a publisher, then absolutely. I think you'll find a lot of stitch books in the States, when they are spiral bound, very often they're self-published ones, I found, and the cost of them is reflected. There'll be a much higher price point, and it just costs a lot of money to do it, unfortunately. And on mass like that as well, the production cost of it is
which is crazy, because it increases the cost, but then we often go out and spend that extra money anyway to get them spiral bound. So what are we doing here?
I know. I've had this conversation. I tried to explain it. I said they'll be doing it anyway. They're not having it. But they spiral band this. So and I will say my publishers are absolutely wonderful people. They are very lovely, and I'm very lucky. But yeah,
who are you using? We hear publisher names all the time. Who are you using?
David and Charles.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So David and Charles, they're part of the Search Press family.
Yes.
And they are wonderful, really lovely to work with.
Highly thought of. I've heard many people,
Yeah,
Wonderful
you
publishers.
end up with a really close relationship with your team, which is fantastic.
Hmm.
And I think with other places possibly not, that's not the case, but they're
Yeah.
very invested in their authors and they look after us amazingly. And yeah, they're a great person to kind of bounce ideas off and things as well. So yeah, they're a good, and I recommend
Yeah.
them very much.
Yeah. So you get,
So yeah,
and we'll get to that. So you get a collaborative effort out of the book then.
yeah,
You're not on
yeah,
your own trying to make something
yeah,
happen and then they'll just print whatever
yeah.
you send. They're actually working with
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
absolutely. No, they really work with me. We have loads of planning meetings. I've got a meeting on Wednesday with my kind of main contact, where we'll have our initial plan. Where I'll say like, these are the things I'm thinking. What do you think? And she'll say, oh yeah, I like that. Or actually, could you add this in as well? Or let's think about this. And she'll give
Okay.
me kind of jumping off points of things that she thinks could go in, and kind of vice versa. We kind of back and forth. So we kind of workshop ideas together, which is really lovely. And yeah, and then I have a later on down the line I have a copy editor who will just read it as though she's never seen a craft
Right.
book in her life, and she'll go, does this make sense to me? And
Right.
then she, or if we're going over the word count in certain spaces, she'll be able to help me condense things down, but it still sound like me. I
Yep.
think she could be a witch. She's very clever. Like the way she does it is magical. She manages to reach into my brain and can just do it just perfectly, so it sounds like me.
Yep.
um, so yeah,
What that is, as a career editor,
yeah,
40,
copy
almost
editor,
50
genius.
years, that's a good editor. That's the
Yeah,
job, is make
yeah,
it make sense, get it down to the
yeah,
necessary words, but then it still
yeah,
sounds like the author. If you
yeah.
start rewriting it so it sounds like the editor, then you miss the point. Yep. Yep.
She's brilliant, and I always request her on each of my books because she just gets my brain, and it just makes the whole process beautiful. It's
Oh,
wonderful.
excellent. Excellent.
But
Good for
yeah,
you.
that's a skill. It's a skill of a job that I
Yep.
appreciate that as well.
Yep.
Um, so
So
yeah,
the
so the
journal.
journal has a lot of blank pages.
Yep.
So you've got areas you can fill in, who the designer was, where you bought it, what the canvas mesh size is, ideas, space to put your ideas for your stitches, for your threads, for finishing options. There's a notes section, and then there's lots of little kind of fun facts and kind of strange musings that I've had that I put at the bottom.
Uh-huh.
And then every now and then there's it's me, so there's going to be a few stitches in there as well.
Yeah, sure.
And
Sure.
then I've got some at the back, I've got some grid pages as well.
Oh, good. So you can chart out letters
Yeah,
or whatever you might want to do. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So
Excellent.
if you need to kind of work out your compensation and things like that, that works really well. And I've got a little there's a little bit of info in there as well about compensating your stitches. So it hopefully it helps people kind of work that out a bit better as
Yeah.
well.
And printed on uncoated paper so you can write on it without it smearing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Small
Yeah.
detail, but kind of huge when you.
Yeah. We've thought of all of that stuff.
That's a good publisher thinking through the
Yeah.
deal. Yeah. Yeah. That's excellent. So then, third book coming out, what year from now?
So that will be coming out spring in 2027.
27. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's about right. Year and a
Yeah.
half, 2 years. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't realize how long those things take. There's so many layers.
So
Yeah.
long. Yes. But the next thing that's coming out is in October. So in October, the second card deck will come out. So we had the card deck, which is basically
Oh,
the
oh, oh,
stitches.
oh, wait. Talk about that. I missed that one
Have you
completely.
seen those? Okay,
No.
they're really cool. So there's 100 stitches in the book, and we took 50 of the stitches and made a little card deck. So it
Oh,
comes in a
excellent.
little box, and then it just takes there's a booklet in there that teaches you all the beginnings of needlepoint. So if someone picked this up and had never approached needlepoint, they're covered because my little instruction book is in there as well. But the individual cards are like the book, so you have the picture of the stitch
Yep.
and the chart, and then on the back you have the written instructions.
Outstanding. Oh, I missed
Yeah,
that completely that you had that. Oh, that's a
yeah.
tremendous thing. Yeah.
They're really cool, and it's lovely. I think because a lot of people love to go to a stitch club or like to, stitch while they're commuting to work. So instead of having to take the whole book, they can grab a couple of the stitches that they're working
Right.
on. And they've got it in their project bag, nice and easy.
Oh no, I'm thinking sitting here, taking one of those cards if I'm doing a stitch I've never done and laying it
Yeah,
right on the work.
yeah.
And yeah, oh
Yeah, it
excellent.
makes me. I have a lot of teachers as well who use it for a fun game, and they'll just throw them in the middle of the class,
Oh
and then people have to just pick one, and then you've got to give it a go,
oh.
and that's really fun.
Now there's a guild meeting or a
Yeah,
chapter meeting, fun thing.
yeah,
Grab some
exactly.
thread, grab a card,
Yeah,
and you yeah. Oh,
yeah,
that's
and
good.
just dive in. Yeah, that's really fun. Something I didn't kind of anticipate happening, and then I had quite a lot of teachers coming up to me telling me they were doing this. I was like, oh, that's a really fun idea. I love
Oh
that.
no,
So yeah,
okay.
so October next card deck.
Next, so the second card deck in October. Now I did not
Yeah,
see those on the website. Probably looked right past them. But
yeah.
cost? What is the cost on those?
So the card deck, they're
I'm
14.99
asking. I'm asking for a
UK.
friend. I'm asking for a friend. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
I'm sure I could probably send you one. UK they're 14.99, and US they're 16.99.
Okay, so 50 cards for
Yeah,
less than $20.
yeah,
Oh, that's excellent. Well played.
yeah. And
Yeah.
they're lovely as well. They make a really good stocking filler. I know
Yep.
loads of people at Christmas. It's a great stocking stuffer for people.
Yep.
So they've been fab. They've been really good.
Oh, that's terrific. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, there's been a lot of people asking for more. So the second book will now have its own card deck that's coming out.
yeah. Oh, excellent. Good one. Good one. All right. Classes, and then you have a retreat. I'm trying to get all the
Yeah,
things in here before we run out of time. So
yeah.
classes, and then you have a retreat next year. Those retreats look like they're a pretty big deal there.
Oh, the retreats are wonderful. I was yeah, that was the best thing. So a dear friend of mine, Jenny Henry, who's a designer in the States, I've known for a really long time. She used to run a needlepoint collective, and she invited myself and some UK designers to be part of it. And it was a mix of UK and American designers, and we would work on different briefs. So she would give us one jumping out point. And you know, this kind of calls back to what we spoke about before about everyone having their own design idea. So she would give us a different brief, and it could be the Pantone color of that year,
Mm-hmm.
or it could
Oh.
be, needlepoint as wearables. And we would all go off and design our own thing, and then
Oh.
we'd all come back and share our ideas.
Uh
Every single thing would be utterly different. It was brilliant.
huh.
And it just goes you to show you, even if you're all given the same starting point, you'll go off in different directions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, my wonderful friend Jenny got back in touch. She said, I'm thinking about doing retreats. She reached out to myself. She reached out to Emily Peacock. I'm always talking about her. She always pops back up again. You
I'm
should
gonna have
have her on.
I'm gonna have to
She's a
hunt her
lovely
down.
person.
Oh, I have a
She's
list here. I've started a list. Yeah, it's
yeah.
yeah.
Emily Peacock's a must. She's fantastic. Um, and so she invited us along. She said, would you love to come and teach a class? I said, absolutely. I love teaching decorative stitch classes anyway. Um, and Emily did a class on colour theory. And we hosted everyone for a week at the Goodwood Hotel, which is this beautiful, beautiful hotel in the middle of the West Sussex countryside. So you're
Yeah.
surrounded by beautiful rolling hills. There's sheep everywhere you turn. It's, flint cottages. Absolutely, it's picture perfect.
Uh-huh.
Britain.
Yeah.
It's what I think is what everyone dreamily thinks. Oh, I'd love to go. I'd love to go to England, and that's what it looks like.
Yep.
We had this beautiful week in the hotel. We all taught a class. So there were kind of four amazing classes over the week. Everyone had beautiful goodie bags with little treats in.
Yeah.
We had amazing kind of meals together, fine dining. It's a small group as well, 25 people. We had a movie night one night. We had a lovely trip. We took them into London for a day. We went to the Royal School of Needlework.
Oh boy.
We took them to the haberdashery department at Liberties. It was absolutely beautiful, and it ended up being a really special, magical week
Mm.
because everyone, I think, because it's a small group, everyone became really close friends.
Uh-huh.
You're in a relatively small space with a bunch of other people with exactly the same interests as yourself,
Yeah. Yeah.
so you instantly got things in common.
Right. Yeah.
We all grew like really close bonds. Myself and Emily were in pieces by the end of it. When we kind of had our wrapping up talk, the two of us were sobbing awfully. It was terrible. We were in pieces. It was embarrassing, to be honest with you. Um, it was beautiful. It was an amazing experience. They all learnt different wonderful things. Decorative stitches with myself. Jenny was talking about the mindfulness of stitching, which felt really important. Just acknowledging the kind of the time that you can allow yourself with it and the importance of that, which was beautiful. Emily did a class where her color theory class, so she did this king and queen portrait, and she printed them on the grayscale. So it was up to each of the stitchers to
Oh.
choose their colors completely.
Ah.
So she had some charts with suggestions, so you could say, right, I'm going to stick with that, or you could go, do you know what? I'm gonna make the king look like my husband, or I'm
Ah.
gonna do this, model this after myself, or whatever. And they just had to dive in and be brave,
Ah.
and it was fantastic.
Yeah. That's
It was
great.
amazing. So we do the retreats to have fun, build friendship and connections, and to kind of challenge people and get them thinking about their own creativity as well. It's
Yeah.
not, in my class, even though it was about decorative stitches, and I did a really simple kind of Polaroid style picture of the West Sussex countryside with rolling hills, and you could play with different stitches to kind of add texture to your clouds and to the different hills and the different colors. But I had a stitch guide, but I also gave them a copy of the book and said, listen, if you want to do different stitches, or you want to play with different colors on different bits, go for it. So
Yeah.
our classes are very kind of what we would call here loosey goosey. So you can be as regimented as you want, but we love it if you go a bit rogue as well. So
Yeah.
just have fun
Yeah.
and play, and
Yeah.
that's important. Gain confidence in your own creativity, because that's important, and that goes back to what I was saying before. It's collaborative. It's not just about us
Yeah.
saying, do this is my design, these are the colors, do it this way.
Right.
It's about, like, you look at it and what feels good to you, what do you want to play with. So the week was very much like that, and it was fantastic, amazing. And we're
Ah.
doing another one spring next year, same place, but with different day trips, different classes. um, and we sold out all the places within 11 days, which was amazing
That's
for
all
us.
right.
Yeah, that was nice. And we've got 12 women returning as well, which
Ah.
again just felt like a huge compliment that many people would return.
Right.
And also there's been a beautiful kind of legacy that's come from it. I keep getting tagged in posts. I was tagged in an Instagram post just this past week with two of the ladies who'd met up, and they decided to meet up, I think a midway point between the
Oh.
states that they both lived in, and they went and did a little tour of some local needlepoint shops. They saw one of my canvases on the wall, so they decided to have a little selfie with my
Uh,
canvas behind them.
oh, that's great.
Gorgeous. It's wonderful, and it's so lovely to see that they're all still friends and they're all still meeting up, and that,
Yep.
yeah, absolutely wonderful.
Oh, that makes it worth the whole thing when you have that come
Absolutely,
out of it. Yeah,
yeah.
that's fantastic.
There's
Yep.
there's nothing better than Stitch Friends.
Yep. All right, we got to wrap up here. Oh, holy smokes! What's the next new design? We got a new one coming out.
Yeah, so the new design. So Liz Harry, who I worked with on the mixtape, I'm working on a new design with her as well. It's based on a battery that she did, where there's beautiful typography that on there that says "Take time to recharge." So it's all about
Oh,
recharging your batteries. It's bright and colourful. It will make a wonderful cushion because you'll stitch that up and then you'll sit back and say, "Do you know what? I do need to recharge my batteries. I'm going to have a lie down."
yep, yep. Oh, excellent, excellent. So that's coming up next. When do we get to see that?
Hopefully in the next couple of months.
Okay,
Working on it at the moment. I think there's going to be some interesting wool that I'm going to add in. I won't say too much more,
okay.
but it's going to be a bit exciting.
All right, all right. So the makers marks. Now there's two S's in there. Makers with
Two
an
S's.
S and marks with an S.
Yeah.
.co.uk is where you find it all. And I have discovered that following you on Instagram is that's where you are really more active in terms
Yeah.
of day to day by a
Yeah.
long shot. So
Yeah.
follow on Instagram. That's in the show notes, and then we'll have the collective website address in the show notes too, so people can see the other designers. And so much fun, Emma. Thank you. I
Thank
think I
you.
got everything in I wanted to talk about. So we got it. Thank you so much for doing it, and thanks to everyone for listening.